of Sai Ram, Chapter 2, Sai Satcharitra. Now, after chapter first, this chapter is related to the object of writing this book. Govindrao, Annasaheb. Annasaheb has watched the miracle of grinding of flour, grinding of wheat converted into flour, and then spreading it to the outskirts of Shirdi to end the cholera epidemic. So after this miracle, he thought to collect all the incident. He thought to write the book. So first in this chapter, it is about the object of writing book. Now there was thought in his mind that why he should write the book. Why? What is the necessity of a guru also? So Sai Baba darted him Hemadpant. Hemadpant is related to the Hemadpantri. Hemadpantri, the scholars, who are the scholars, right? So this name was given by Sai Baba, and so the author, well-known author of Sai Satcharitra, Hemadpant, will close our eyes and will salute to the work and the writing of Hemadpantji Annasaheb, the writer of Sai Satcharitra, because this book is a miraculous book, and reading to this book, your all wishes, desires will be fulfilled. So, going to chapter 2, first, the object of writing this work. And as described in the first chapter, the miracle of checking and destroying the cholera epidemic by grinding wheat and throwing the flour on the outskirts of village. The author heard other miracle of Sai Baba too. And for after hearing this miracle, this delight burst a flame in him to write this book, because the miracles of Sai Baba would be interesting and instructive to the devotees and would remove their sins also. So he thought, and he began to write the secret life and teaching of Sai Baba. The life of saint is neither logical nor dialectical. It shows us the true and great path. So now it was about the incapacity and boldness in undertaking the work, as this work was going to be the great work, right? So the thought was coming that he was fit person to undertake the work, or he was not the fit person, because he was having the thought that I even don't know the life of my intimate friend, and I don't know the mind of my friend, then how can I describe such a wonderful saint? Because to write about the life of the saint and to describe the nature of the incarnation, which even the Vedas were unable to do, so this job was a bit tough for him. So first he was doubting himself with his incapabilities and boldness in undertaking the work. So let's go to that part. Hemadpant thought that he was not a fit person to undertake the work. He said, I don't know the life of my intimate friend, nor I know my own mind. Then how can I write the life of a saint or describe the nature of the incarnation, which even the Vedas were unable to do? One must be a saint himself before he could know other saints. Otherwise, it's difficult. One may as well as able to measure the depth of the seven seas or enclose the sky with cloth trapping. I know this was the most venturous undertaking which might expose me to the ridicule. I therefore invoked Sai Baba's grace. Nothing, Sai Baba says, even a leaf, even a leaf can't move without his permission. So it was indirect order by Sai Baba only that he, Annasaheb, Govindrao ji, darted as Hemadpant, write this book. So now it is about the Dhyaneshwari Maharaj in this chapter also. It is about all the kathas that were mentioned in Bhakta Vijay, Santa Vijay, Bhakta Lilamrut, Santa Lilamrut. So we go to the reading of that part. The premium poet, saint of Maharashtra, Sri Dhyaneshwar Maharaj, has stated that the Lord loves those who write the lives of saint, and the saint also have their own peculiar method of assigning the service which the devotees long for. The saint inspires the work. The devotees become only an indirect cause or an instrument in achieving the end. For instance, in 1700 Saka year, the poet Mahipati aspired to write the lives of saints. Saints inspired him and got the work done. So also in 1800 Saka year, Das Ganushji's service was accepted. The former wrote four works: Bhakta Vijay, Santa Vijay, Bhakta Lilamrut and Santa Lilamrut, while the later wrote two, Bhakta Lilamrut and Santa Kathamrut, in which the lives of modern saints were described. In this chapter 31, 32, 33 of Bhakta Lilamrut and in chapter 57 of Santa Kathamrut, the life and teaching of Sai Baba are very well depicted. These have been separately published in Sai Leela magazine, volume number 11, 12, 17. The readers are advised to read this chapter too. So also Sai Baba's wonderful Leelas are described by Mrs. Savitri Bai Raghunath Tendolkar of Bandra in a small book named Sri Sainath Bhajan Mala. Das Ganu Maharaj also has composed various sweet poems on Sai Baba. A devotee named Amidas Bhavani Mehta has also published some stories of Sai Baba in Gujarati. Some number of Sainath Prabha, a magazine published by Dakshina Bhiksha Sanstha of Shirdi, are also published. Then the question of the objection comes in that while so many work regarding Sai Baba are extant, why should this Satcharitra be written? And where is it necessity? The answer was plain and simple. The life of Sai Baba is as wide and deep as the infinite ocean, and all can dive deep into the same and take out precious gem of knowledge, bhakti, and distribute them amongst the aspiring people. The story, parables, and teaching of Sai Baba are very wonderful. They give peace and happiness to the people who are afflicted with sorrows and heavily loaded with miseries of the worldly existence, and also bestow knowledge and wisdom both in this world and in spiritual domains. If this teaching of Sai Baba, which are as interesting and instructive as the Vedic lore, are listened to and meditated upon, the devotees will get what they long for. It is it is a my life experience too that reading of Sai Satcharitra, your wishes will do come true. So please do read it whenever you get chance, or listen to my videos also, listen to the stories also. Do like, subscribe, and comment on my videos. Thank you. Again, coming to the book, the union with Brahma, mastery in eightfold yoga, bliss of meditation, etc., can be obtained by reading this book. So the author thought that he should collect the stories together. They would be his best upasana. The collection would be more delightful to those simple souls whose eyes were not blessed with Sai Baba's darshan. So the author then set about collecting Sai Baba's teaching and expression the outcome of his boundless self-realization. It was Sai Baba only who inspired the author in this method and the matter to write the book. In fact, we all should surrender our egos at Sai Baba's feet and we should think for making our path clear as the author surrendered all his ego at Sai Baba's feet and thought that his path was clear and that he would make him happy and not only in this world but the next world. Coming back to the chapter 2, I could not myself ask Sai Baba to give me permission for this work, so I requested Mr. Madhavrao Deshpande, that is Shamaji, Baba's most intimate devotee, to speak to him for me. He pleaded my cause and said to Sai Baba, this Annasaheb wishes to write your biography. Don't say that you are a poor fakir and there is no necessity to write this book. But if you agree and help him, he will write, or rather, your grace will accomplish the work. Without your consent and blessing, nothing can be done successfully. When Sai Baba heard this request, he was moved and blessed the author by giving him Udi, the sacred ash. Always while going for any important work or always going out, please put Sai Baba's Udi on your this third eye chakra. Sai Baba Udi बहुत पावर है साई बाबा की उदी में जादू है so please have it with you. I am keeping Sai Baba's Udi in my purse also and it goes wonder. So keep Baba's Udi with you. And again coming to the book that Sai Baba blessed him by giving him Udi and placing his boon bestowing hand on his head. साई बाबा का हाथ महसूस करेंगे हम कि साई बाबा का हाथ हम सबके सर पे बना रहे. ओम श्री साईनाथाय नमः. Sai Baba said, let him make a collection of the stories and experiences. Keep notes and memos. I will help him. He is only an outward instrument. I should write my autobiography myself and satisfy the wishes of my devotees. He should get rid of his ego, surrender it at my feet. He who acts like this in the life I help the most. What of my life story? I serve him in his house in all possible ways. When his ego is completely surrendered and there left no trace of it. Sai Baba said, I myself shall enter into him and shall myself write my own life. Hearing my stories and teaching will create faith in devotees' heart and they will easily get self-realization and bliss. Let there be no insistence on establishing one's own view, no attempt to refute others' opinion, no discussion of pros and cons of any subject. Now, then was the significant and prophetic title. It was about the name given to Annasaheb as Hemadpant. Now the word discussion put Hemadpant in some confusion. So it is about this. The word discussion put in me in mind of my promise to explain the story of my getting the title of Hemadpant, and now I begin to relate the same. I was on close friendly term with Kakasaheb Dikshit and Nanasaheb Chandorkar. They pressed me to go to Shirdi and have Baba's darshan, and I promised them to do so. But something in the meanwhile, something happened which prevented him to go to Shirdi. The son of friend of mine at Lonavala fell ill, and the friend tried all possible ways, all the spiritual ways, all the physical ways, but then he was not cured. Then this thought came into my mind that what is the utility of Guru? If the Guru is not able to save, then if Guru is not able to do anything, then why should I go to Shirdi at all? Thinking this way, Hemadpant postponed his Shirdi trip, but the inevitable must happen, and it happened in Hemadpant case also. Mr. Annasaheb Chandorkar was a divisional officer, was going on tour to Basant. From Thane he came to Dadar and was waiting for the train. Meanwhile, a Bandra local turned up. He sat in it and came to Bandra and sent for me and took me to the task for putting off my Shirdi trip. Nana Sahib's argument for my Shirdi's trip was convincing and delightful, and then so I decided to start for Shirdi the same night. I packed up my luggage and started for Shirdi. I planned to go to Dadar and from there to catch the train for Manmad, and so I booked myself for Dadar and sat in the train. While the train was to start, a Mohammedan came hastily to my compartment and seeing all my confusion asked me where I was bound to. I told him about my plan. He then suggested that I should go straight to Boribandar and not to wait at Dadar, as the Manmad mail did not stop at Dadar. If this little miracle or Leela had not happened, I would not have reached Shirdi next day, as the train was not going to stop at Dadar and the person was sent. ये साई बाबा की ही लीला थी जो साई बाबा ने भेजा एक बंदे को और बंदे ने डायरेक्शन दी और हेमंत पंत की जर्नी जो रुकी नहीं और वो पहुंच गए शिरडी. Now I would not have reached Shirdi next day and settled, and many doubts would have assailed me, but that was not to be. As fortune favored me, I reached Shirdi the next day before 9 or 10. Bhau Sahib, Kaka Sahib Dikshit was waiting for me there. This was in 1910 when there was only one place, that is Sathes Wada, for lodging pilgrim devotees. After alighting from Taonga, I was anxious to have darshan when the great devotee Tatya Sahib Nulkar returned from the masjid and said that Sai Baba was at the corner of Wada and that I should first get the preliminary darshan and then after bath see him at leisure. Hearing this, I ran and bow before Baba, and my joy knew no bound. I found more than what Nana Sahib Chandorkar has told me. All my senses were satisfied. I forgot my thirst and hunger. The moment I touched Sai Baba's feet, just feel that you are touching Sai Baba's feet. महसूस करेंगे, breathe in, breathe out. That just like Hemant Pant, we are also touching Sai Baba's feet. Breathe in, breathe out. Blissful. I began a new life. I felt myself much obliged to those who spurred and helped me to get the darshan. I consider them as my real relatives and I cannot repay their debt. I only remember them and bow before them. The peculiarity of Sai Baba's darshan, as I found it, is that by his darshan, our thoughts are changed. The force of previous action is abated, and gradually non attachment or dispersion towards the worldly objects grows up. It is by the merit of actions in many past births that such darshan is got. And if only you see Sai Baba, all the world assumes the form of Sai Baba. Om Shri Sainathai Namah. Now, then it's about the hot discussion that there was a hot discussion in the Vada where Baba was not there. Then also, Baba came to know about this discussion. This is the omniscient and the called the inner ruler of all of us. हमें लगता है कि साईं बाबा को कुछ पता नहीं है. हमारी एक से एक छोटी चीज, हमारी एक से एक छोटी हरकत बाबा को पता है. बाबा is omniscient. So coming to the hot discussion, next page. On the first day of my arrival in Shirdi, there was a discussion between me and Balasaheb Bhate regarding the necessity of Guru. Then I said, why should we lose our freedom and submit to others when we have to do our duties? Why a Guru is necessary? One must try his best and save himself. What can the Guru do to a man who does nothing but sleeps indolently? Thus I pleaded free will, while Mr. Bhate took up the other side, that is destiny, and said, whatever is bound to happen must happen. Even great men have failed. Man proposes one way, but God disposes the other way. Brush aside your cleverness, pride, or egoism. It won't help you. This discussion, with all pros and cons, went on for an hour or so, and as usual, no conclusion was arrived at. We had to stop the discussion ultimately, as we were exhausted. The net result of this was that I lost my peace of mind and found that unless there is a strong body consciousness and egoism, there would be no discussion. In other words, it is egoism which breeds discussion. Then when we went to masjid with other, Baba asked Kaka Sahib Dikshit the following. What was going in Sathe's Wada? What was the discussion about? And staring at me, Baba further added, what did this Hemadpant say? Hearing this word, I was much surprised. The masjid was at a considerable distance from Sathe's Wada, where I was staying, and where the discussion was going on. How could Baba know about the discussion unless he be omniscient and the inner ruler of all of us? I begin to think why Sai Baba should call me by the name Hemant Pant. The world is a distorted form of Hemandri Pant. This Hemandri Pant was a well-known minister of kings Mahadev's and Ramdev of Devgiri of Yadav dynasty. He was very learned, good-natured, and the author of the works such as Chaturvarga, Chintamani, and Rajaprasthithi. He invented and started new methods of accounts and was the originator of the Modi script. But I was quite the opposite, and ignorance was there. I was with some less intellect, so I could not understand why the name or title was conferred upon me. But thinking seriously upon it, I thought that the title was a dart to destroy my ego so that I should always remain meek and humble. It was also a compliment paid to me for the cleverness in the discussion. Looking into the history, we think that Baba's word by telling Hemadpant was significant and prophetic. Why it was prophetic? Because we find that he looked after the management of Sai Baba's Sanstha very intelligently, kept all the accounts properly, and was also the author of such a great work, Sai Satcharitra, which deals with such important and spiritual subjects as dhyan, bhakti, dispassion, self-surrender, and self-realization. Now, last in this chapter, it is about the necessity of Guru. So Hemadpant has left no note, no memo about what Baba said regarding this subject, but Kaka Sahib Dikshit has published the note regarding this matter. Next day, after Hemadpant's meeting with Sai Baba, Kaka Sahib went to Baba and asked Baba where to go. Baba says, high up. Then the man said, where is the way, Baba? Baba said, there are many ways leading there. There are many ways leading there. There in one way from here. Shirdi is also one way. The way is difficult. There are tigers and wolves in the jungle on the way. Then I asked, but Baba, what if we take a guide with us? Baba answered, then there is no difficulty. The guide will take you straight to your destination, avoiding wolves, tigers, and ditches, etc. on the way. If there be no guide, there is a danger of your being lost in the jungles or falling into ditches. Mr. Dabholkar was present on this occasion and he thought that this was the answer Baba gave to the question whether Guru was a necessity, and he thereupon took the hint that no discussion whether man is free or bound is of any use in spiritual matters, but on the contrary, real Paramatma is possible. Real Gnan is possible only as the result of teaching of Guru, as is illustrated in this chapter of the original work, in the instance of great avatars like Ram and Krishna, who had to submit themselves to their Guru, Vashisht and Sandipani, respectively, for getting self realization, and that the only virtues necessary for such progress are faith and patience. Shraddha and Saburi, the two pillar Sai Baba has given to us. So, ending this chapter, go to Sri Sai, peace be to all. Om Shri Sainath Maharaj ki Jai. Om Shri Sainath Maharaj ki Jai.